Hello, brilliant entrepreneur. It's Tash Corbin here, and welcome to another episode of the Heart-Centered Business Podcast. This is episode number 188. So all the show notes for today, as well as any links that I refer to, are available at tashcorbin.com/188. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you the tech and platforms for different stages of business. So if you've been wondering which platforms to use and what you need in order to be ready to go, then this is the episode for you, and let's get started. I'm Tash Corbin, and this is the Heart-Centered Business Podcast. Okay, so it's probably one of the most common topics of conversation over in the Heart-Centered community, and that is, I'm thinking about tech platform, what do you think? Or I need to do X, what can do it for me? So I thought I'd do this episode of the podcast for you today to talk about the different stages of online business and what platforms and technology solutions you should be looking for at each of those stages. Now, of course, this is always through the lens of there's no such thing as one size fits all. And also it depends on your pathway to market and the way that you have grown your business and the way that you are growing your business. But in the online service-based world, I see most people have these 4 very distinct stages of business, and there are different technology platforms that you'll need to consider for each of them. So the first stage that I want to talk about is the direct sell stage of business. This is where you are selling in a one-to-one way through conversations and connections with people, and you are delivering in a one-to-one way. So you're delivering through one-to-one VIP services. Now, in that stage of business, you're still developing proof of concept and proof that people will pay for the outcomes that you sell. So in that stage of business, the types of platforms and things you need to be thinking about would be having a mailing list. So, and all your mailing list really needs to do at that point in time is be able to collect people's emails legally and send emails to your audience legally as well. Now, I would recommend platforms such as MailChimp, ActiveCampaign, MailerLite, something that's nice and affordable, and all it needs to do is collect email addresses and send emails out. It doesn't need to have all the bells and whistles. MailChimp has a free version. I think MailerLite does as well. So it's something you can get started with, and you can always move to a more complex and more expensive platform later once you need that extra functionality. The second thing you want to be thinking about is your online presence and making sure you're able to get content out and at least have some form of look and feel to your graphics that you're putting out there. I would highly recommend using a tool like Canva, so you don't have to go to the depths of Photoshop or something that's complex like that. Pick a color, pick a font, and just be really consistent with it at that stage of business. You're still proving your value proposition. You're still proving that people will pay for your services. So you don't want to be investing a lot of money into getting fancy schmancy branding and fancy schmancy logos and fancy schmancy photos, and then having to pay a graphic designer on repeat when you haven't actually got that consistent income coming in your business. So a platform like Canva can be a really sexy one to help you at least get started, have some kind of visual presence, and be consistent with it. The third thing I would talk about is being able to deliver your services. So if you're delivering one-to-one services in the direct sell phase of business, you're probably already also playing with something like webinars. I highly recommend the Zoom platform for this. One, it requires a very low bandwidth. So if your ideal client is in Australia with the worst bandwidth and internet in the world, they will be able to participate. 2, if you're doing one-on-one meetings with clients, you can give them the functionality to record the session for themselves, or you can record it and send it to them. And 3, Zoom is really easy for people to use. And once they know how to use it, it's a really user-friendly platform. So I think the meetings level of Zoom costs about $20 to $25 a month. And I think it's a really good investment. It puts a nice professional image. I don't use Skype anymore whatsoever. It was just so full of spam, and asking my clients to jump on Skype and open themselves up to all of that spam, it's really problematic. Whereas I find Zoom is a much more professional platform. It doesn't require that people have a public profile and open themselves up to all of that spam. And it's got lots of great tools and functionality that you can use. You can also set up a Zoom meeting with a registration form. So it's a great early way of running webinars. Now, I do think that there is a good reason to be moving on to a webinars platform further on. But when you're first starting out, I think Zoom Meetings Pro, the first level, lets you have 100 live participants on a webinar. That is more than enough for when you're first starting out. So Zoom, or some way of being able to deliver your services and do some of those things like your first webinars, is a great platform to think about when you're first starting out. So we've got 3 platforms so far for starting out: something for your emails, something for your graphics, so Canva, and then Zoom for meetings and your first webinars. And then the 4th thing is, if you are going to be taking in money, you need to have some of those money acceptance strategies in place. So I would, as a bare minimum, have a PayPal account that's set up and it's aligned with your business. So I would make sure you have a business bank account, you have a PayPal account that's linked to your business email address, and when you withdraw funds from that PayPal account, they go into your business bank account. And you can use PayPal to set up something like paypal.me, so you can send links through to get sales from people. And then the other thing is then also being able to hook something up to your booking system as well. So if you are getting bookings from people to book in one-on-one sessions with you, whether that's single sessions or packages or whatever it might be, something like Acuity or Calendly is a great tool to get started. So there's kind of 5 categories that you want to get started with there. I know it feels like it's a lot, but they are just the minimum things that you need to do in order to be able to promote your services, collect people's email addresses, have conversations with people and deliver services, take their money and get their booking. So, we've got some really simple things that you want to get set up. Once you've got that nailed and you are making consistent sales and you're starting to really see that you've got a good flow of clients coming into your business, the next stage of business is the scale and systemize stage of business. So you're still delivering one-to-one, but now you're selling one-to-many. So the platforms that need to go with that are going to reflect that as well. You're still selling one-to-one, so you still will have like a booking system, a way of people paying you, all of those sorts of things. But the systems that may need to grow a little are the ones that grow your reach and that allow you to sell in that one-to-many format. So that would be things like your email system, having the ability to do things like tagging people, maybe a few email sequences or automations. Your website, now that you know what your message is, you've got your value proposition proven, and you know how to find your ideal clients, you want to have an online home where they can come and find you and purchase from you. So it's in this stage of business that I'd recommend really focusing on that website and making sure that it's working. The third one would be scaling your webinars. If you're at that point in your business, chances are you're going to start having more than 100 people want to show up to your webinars live. So you can go for the next level in Zoom, or you can use a webinars platform. Zoom also does have a webinars platform. You add it to your existing Zoom meetings account, and I think it's around $60 to $70 a month on top of your existing Zoom membership. So it really depends on how much money you're making at this stage of business and to what extent you're confident that you're going to be getting more than 100 people showing up to your webinars live. But you really do want to be starting to look to that once you're in scale and systemizing your business. And the final one that I would start looking at in terms of platforms and technology at this stage of business is your task management. So even if you're not outsourcing and you don't have team members in your business, you want to be managing yourself really effectively. So a tool like Asana, or having a business plan that's on a spreadsheet or something Using a tool like Teamwork could work as well, although I would say that's more advanced and where you have multiple team members on multiple projects. But having something where you can start keeping track of what is the step-by-step process that I undertake every time I do this thing, so that either you can hand it over in this stage of business or you can get ready to hand it over to someone else. It is, it's so painful to try and remember every step of everything you need to be doing in your business, and that is slowing you down. So in the scale and systemize phase of business, you want to get to the point where you can do things really quickly and start getting those tasks checked off really quickly, one after the other, so that you aren't needing to like rework it out every single time you do the same task over and over. Then the next stage of business is launch and leverage. And this is where we jump from selling one-to-many, delivering one-to-one, to selling one-to-many, delivering one-to-many. And so the platforms and technology that you're going to be using at that stage of business are going to reflect that as well. So a platform, in order for you to be able to host and sell your online course or membership or mastermind or whatever it is going to be important for you here. I love the Kartra platform once you're into the leverage and launch stage of business. The reason why I love it is that it takes care of a bunch of different systems. So it takes over for your email marketing, your shopping cart, your course and membership platform. It also has the ability for you to do things like affiliates in it, and it has some really great email sequencing and automation tools and tactics that you can use because the system can do it for you. So I really do love Kartra once you're at that leverage and launch stage of business. If you want to go and check it out, I also do have an affiliate link where you can go and check it out and get a trial of the Kartra platform for $1 for 14 days. So I'll make sure the link to that is in the show notes at tashcorbin.com/188. The other thing I would say when you're at launch and leverage is having, rather than just a task management tool, having a project management tool. So as a minimum, something like Asana or something like Teamwork or Basecamp or Trello, something where your team members and yourself can go in and get reminders of when things are due and what they need to be doing, and be able to follow processes consistently. And that management tool actually having some functionality to send reminders and actively re-engage people in the project and in the tasks that they're needing to be done. I think that that's something that you really want to start looking at when you're at that leverage and launch stage of your business. And then the last stage of business is the process orientation phase of business. Now, in this phase, you've nailed your launches, you know how to run a launch on repeat, and you can roll it out, and you're starting to set up those automated sales processes. So not only are you selling one-to-one and one-to-many and delivering one-to-many, you're also automating that process of selling one-to-many. And so therefore, the tools that you're going to want to use for that would be things like automating funnels. So again, I just use Kartra. It's got lots of sequencing that you can do, and you can check on each stage of the funnel. It might be automating some of the course emails and onboarding that you have with your courses, memberships, or programs. And the other thing you might be looking for is affiliates as well. So if you don't use a platform like Kartra that has the affiliate part built in, then you might need to find an affiliate plugin for the way that you are selling your online courses, membership, or programs. So that's a bit of a run through on each of the stages of business and some of the technology and platforms that may help you at each stage. I hope this has been really helpful for you. If you've got any questions or aha moments that have happened for you as a result of this podcast episode, just head on over to the Heart-Centered Soul-Driven Entrepreneurs Facebook community and use #podcastaha. Let us know you've been listening to episode number 188, and we'll keep an eye out to see if you've got any questions, or we can keep the conversation going over there. The other thing I do want to say is over on the show notes, I'll have the links to all of those platforms that I've been talking about. If you want to go and check them out, some of them will be my affiliate links, of course, win-win. Doesn't make it any cheaper if you don't use an affiliate link, so we might as well all be spreading that money around. And also some of them have special discounts for or free trials for you to go and check them out as well. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of the Heart Centered Business Podcast. Until next time, I cannot wait to see you shine, and I'll see you on the next episode of the Heart Centered Business Podcast. Bye for now. Would you like more tips, tools, and resources to help you grow your heart-centered business? Head to tashcorbin.com today.